if like the military ever developed it, if this was like a brainwashing program for prisoners of war. Mm-hmm. You know, you capture prisoners.
Welcome to Game Club! My name is Brian. This month I'm joined with Chris, It's the Hutch Hutcherson, and Brittany Saturn. And we've played SuperHot. And hopefully you have too. So, Brittany, did you like that game?
Yeah.
How about you, Hutch? You like that game?
No.
That's a lie.
That is a lie. I really like that game.
We talked already. You can't fool me.
Hutch changed his mind in the last 10 seconds.
So, I really like the game, but I have a giant bias with this. I supported the game on Kickstarter. I got the T-shirt. I got the stickers. I threw a lot of money at them. So
you're kind of obligated to like it at this point,
well,
right?
I mean, it's better to be biased to like it than to put a bunch of money behind it and it turned out to be crap, right?
Well, I mean, I'm very satisfied with the product. So, but we'll get to that later. This isn't, well, I put money behind it. I'm going to like it regardless. Cause I've had a lot of Kickstarters that have bombed. And I'm like, well, too bad I put money behind that. So.
Yeah. Might as well lit it on fire.
But thankfully, this game not only lived up to my expectations, but has exceeded it in almost every way. So I'm very happy with the purchase, and I think anyone who puts what is it, $15?
I think that's what it's retailing for, 15 or 20.
15 or 20, it's well worth that price. So, but let's go ahead and get right into the meat and potatoes of the game, which is not the case. Never mind. Don't listen to me. The story is not the meat and potatoes of this game. I'm sorry. We always start. I guess gameplay, but yeah, go ahead, Brittany. I think you had the strongest grasp of the story of this game.
Well, I want to hear what y'all think first.
Okay.
Tell me your crap stories before I tell you mine. I'm stealing my ideas.
So, yeah, like, what game was that where we stole all of your ideas? It was Gone Home?
I don't know.
I think.
I don't remember. You always stole my ideas.
Yeah, probably. No, for me, it was a guy... He downloaded a game illegally. He started playing it illegally, and he kept having to re-crack into it to the point that they started giving him subliminal messages, and it turned out to be like almost like a military training software instead of an actual video game. And then slowly and surely, it got to the point where he no longer was real. He was now part of the game. His intelligence was downloaded into the game, and that was being used. Not, I wouldn't say against his will, but more like almost kind of like they were saying set free, but it felt more like almost a forced digital slavery, and that was kind of where I was getting from it. But they kept saying that they were going to set you free, and you were doing a lot of cool things. But I especially once you got to the secrets, it really felt like, oh yeah, you are not in control at all. Even though you feel like you're in total control via the gameplay, it was a nice like catch-22 balance.
I guess I didn't really feel like I was in control.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Oh, okay. Well,
no.
What?
So, I mean, the story that I thought it was it's similar to what yours is anyway. It's basically, I thought that a person is downloading a mind control program disguised as a game, and it's created by a computer or machines or something along that nature. And eventually, like you said, the person gets absorbed, their mind gets absorbed into the game, even to the point where the player kills their body, basically. Like, their body no longer exists. So their mind is just aware inside the game, and that's it. So that's pretty much what I gathered from it.
Yeah.
So I felt, I'm kind of similar with how you guys are feeling. I never really felt like I didn't completely lose control, but I just never had, like that one scene where, you've taken over a body and you walk up to your apartment to like smash yourself at the end. I could like walk around and like opt not to do it, but I can't get anywhere. It makes it so that I have to make that choice.
Yeah, those the only way to progress.
Yeah,
and that's what made me feel like I wasn't in control, because I had to do certain things. I didn't have choices. I could prolong it, but it was gonna be something I had to do anyway.
Well, the nature of like logging out of the game, like that's a very meta thing about this game, is that it keeps telling you like log out and never come back.
Yeah,
like you can quit the game and never like end up,
actually
doing the deed.
When it told me to log out, I was like, guess I'm done. I guess this game's over with then. And I was like, I went to bed. I was like, well, I finished the game. And Brian was like, did it make you log out? I was like, yep, I'm done. He was like, no, you're not. And I'm like, shit. Because when I was playing it, it was really late at night. I was super tired and I wanted to quit. And the game kept telling me, like, you should quit. You need to quit. Get out of here. Like, stop trying. I'm like, I'm trying. Just fuck it. I want to end it. Like, I don't want to play this anymore. I was just really tired, so.
What was your feeling at that point? Like, when you thought the game was over? Like,
well, I thought, like, oh, it's a weird, like, indie Kickstarter game. Like, they did something really weird where the story isn't important. It's more about the playthrough, so maybe, or it's just about the gameplay, so maybe the story isn't very long, And that was kind of like the end. But I was reluctant to play this game because it was described as a shooter, and I don't like shooters, so I was like, well, I don't really want to play this game. Like, I played it the last minute. And when I started to play it, I got really excited because it's more of a puzzle game than anything else.
Well, it's still, like, the developers, like, hate it when people say that, but it's totally a puzzle game.
But I wonder, like, if they are just putting up a front, kind of like the game. How the game is like, tell your friends it's this amazing shooter.
Yeah.
And it's kind of, and that's what made me think it's more of like a brainwashing.
Yeah,
because it's like, tell your friends, we're trying to, recruit more people, basically.
Well, I would actually argue against it being a puzzler. I think it's, well, not purely, it's at least partially a puzzle because of the side,
the secrets,
that they have. Like, trying to figure out where those are and how to get there. That's the puzzle aspect that they don't really, like, advertise super huge, other than, like, on the main menu, it says secret not found on the level if you, haven't found it. But I think it's I would say it's more of an action slash shooter, because there's more than shooting in this game. But it's just it's a fresh take. It's definitely one of the most innovative shooters I've played in years.
Exactly. It's definitely the most innovative shooter I've played in years. But, yeah, you're not going to do it, are you?
No.
Okay.
Sounds like you didn't finish the game.
I never went back and looked for the secrets. I just played the main story. I like the game, but I don't think I would go back and play it again. And I definitely wouldn't play the endless mode where you just have people coming at you constantly.
See, I played it.
I know you really.
I got really into
part.
it. Depending, like, certain stages were not fun, but it was nice to add a lot to it because this is a very short game. You can beat it in 2 hours, like, easy. And I appreciated the extra gameplay that you could be found into it. If you dig deep enough, if you really enjoyed it, you could get a lot more hours out of it. But if you're like, oh, this is cool, I'm done now, you could also do that too. So that was nice. And I appreciate it when a game gives me most of the story succinctly, whereas and if you want to dig in, you can. That's nice.
Yeah. Okay.
That being said, something to go back to what you guys were saying earlier about choice, I also played... This game originally was based off of a 7-day game jam, and these guys pumped out, like, a little stage, and it was really cool. Eventually, the alpha and beta came out. In the beta, it was pretty much the first, like, quarter of the game. And one of the stages that they put in the beta was where you get to where you get to kill yourself, right?
Oh.
But in the beta, it was different. You had a choice. You could kill yourself or take off the VR lens. Either way, it ended.
I think it kind of developed, probably story-wise, into something a little different.
I think it would have been neat to, like, have a branching path to where it split when you took off the VR. I think that would have been neat. I think that would have been insanely hard for the team to do with their budget and their time constraints, but I think it would have been really cool. Maybe like an expansion later, but...
Maybe, but I mean, the way that they built that thing up, like it got you in a cell and like a couple of just non-action levels, and they're basically training you, when they're flashing commands on the screen, as if you are a dog, and I see that as what they're going for. They're trying to make it so that they take away that choice that you want to have, so. It makes it easier from a game design perspective because they don't have to worry about branching storylines or endings.
I have to admit that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah.
That I can see where that decision process was made.
One thing I wanted to bring up that I thought was really interesting is this made me start thinking a lot about VR because that's a big thing out right now. Like you can actually buy it. You've pre-ordered one.
Yeah, it's very hot.
What I wanted to bring up was, this is borderline conspiracy theory, but if there ever comes a day where virtual reality is so realistic that maybe you can't tell a difference between reality and the game, if something of this nature, if like the military ever developed it, if this was like a brainwashing program for prisoners of war. You capture prisoners and either get them to spill their secrets or get them to turn sides and fight for the enemy.
Killscreen had an article along the lines where they were like, something that we need to be concerned about is like VR for torture purposes. And while this is all super cool, but we need to make sure that we are not using it in the wrong ways because it can have physical effects on someone. I mean, motion sickness is like the most obvious one.
And while I'm not saying that that's necessarily what was going on in this game, it made me start thinking about that.
Yeah, it's interesting.
Well, it was pretty interesting.
I don't know if this game will or will not eventually support VR, but that would be pretty neat. So
being that it's basically when you play the game, I think it's supposed to be the player in the game. That's the story is supposed to be VR. So.
Yeah. Obviously,
I think that lends challenges to like the core gameplay mechanics because every time you move, and actually I don't remember if you look around it. Increases the time. A little bit. It's very slow if you use just the right stick or whatever mouse or whatever you're using. It's slow, but it does move subtly. Okay, because I've forgotten. I guess they could make it work. It's just they'd have to kind of fine tune it a little bit so that the head movements don't. Yeah, it's not make drastic. Things kind of crazy. Yeah,
it could happen, but which kind of brings us into our next subject. Gameplay. Now, this was the real bread and butter of the game.
Yeah, this was basically what the game was all about.
And it's very simple. Time moves only when you move. It's if you don't move, if you don't don't hit the left stick or don't use WASD at all, everything stops. Everything stands still. Bullets stand still. Everything. And that's
kind of what brings in the puzzle aspect of it, because it's like, well, which way should I move so this bullet doesn't hit me?
Yeah, it gives you a moment to think about how you're going to progress through the action scene.
Which is perfect for me, because I'm terrible at shooters, because I just have a hard time navigating everything, and I always take a minute in real games to stop and align my crosshairs, and I always die. That's why I'm terrible at
Brittany
shooters.
Doesn't move and shoot at the same time.
So it was nice for me. I'd be like, cool, I can stop and figure out what I'm going to do next before I actually have to move. So.
Yeah, and that's kind of what I liked about it. It became a tactical game for me more than an action game. Now, there are action, especially if you get to endless. Holy shit. It gets really hard to plan your next mode of action when you have 7 guys with katanas on top of you. And those things don't need to reload. Yep. So it gets really, really tough. But one of the cool things, this whole game the first half of the game really drives in that one mechanic. And that all through the beta, all through every other process of being able to play this game before it came out, that was the one thing about it. And I was like, how the hell are they going to make a whole game about this one mechanic? And they did a pretty decent job of it, I think.
They did a really good job of it.
I mean, granted, yes, it's a short game, but I've played $60 games that are shorter.
Yeah.
So
I thought it was definitely cool how it introduced the end where you get to jump from body to body.
Exactly.
That was really neat.
When I first played it, like the day it came out, I believe. I was sitting here, we were streaming it, and Chubrock was sitting with me. And he knew about the game because I played it a lot on stream. And that mission came up, and we were just like, we kind of both lost our minds about how cool it was. One of my favorite things is that, like when we were talking about Unfinished Swan, it introduced new things, but it didn't build on what it already had established.
What do you mean?
Unfinished Swan, like those different parts.
Oh, yeah.
And it wasn't building on a game mechanic that it already had been teaching you for half of a game. SuperHot perfectly adds another game mechanic on top of a very well thought out game mechanic, and it adds so much more dimension to it. And what was really cool, I'm pretty sure that's what drove most of the whole like mind altering parts of the storyline. So it was really well done, and I
think my favorite part about the game, too, was that the story was a little confusing, but you didn't have to understand the story in order to enjoy the game.
Yes.
Like, you could completely ignore the story and be like, I don't give a fuck, and just play the game.
It actually is pretty easy to do, too.
And you would still find it very enjoyable. So.
I guess after that, I guess we just have aesthetics.
Too colorful.
Too...
Too many prints and patterns.
It's got that Mirror's Edge vibe. Everything is
definitely
very white and sterile, and
the red is where you.
It's even.
That's what's important.
It's
that's
your
what you
points of interest because those are the things
it's
trying to kill you.
It's even more monotone than Mirror's Edge was.
Oh yeah,
the people are no colors. There's no like actual people in it. There's just these red people.
There's literally only maybe 3 or 4 colors,
and I kind of love it because it's so distinct. And a lot of games look like fucking brown pieces of shit covered in mud and dirt and blood.
All right.
No, seriously, I'm so fucking tired of shooters that look like that.
You are just making fun of the N64.
Well, a little bit, but no, like
leave that console alone.
No, I'll never leave the N64 alone. But,
well, I think that's actually probably a really clever way to not only make their game very distinctive looking, but also to save money.
Well, yeah, I mean, all the way around, it is obvious that these developers, based out of Poland, have done the most with their money. They got around $250,000 in the Kickstarter, which is nothing for a game budget.
Well, how much were they asking for?
$100,000.
Oh, okay, so they basically doubled what they
got 150% more. So,
and I don't know anything about game budgets, so that sounds like a lot of money to me, but maybe it's not.
That's not even including like the fiscal rewards that they had to account for, advertising the Kickstarter, and then the fees for all that stuff,
everything like that. Okay. So I'm looking forward to see what their next game is, because it's already been a success. They've made their money back.
That's good.
And it's about to come out on the Xbox One.
Do people like the online community for this? Do they seem pretty pleased with the game?
I have not seen anyone that was unhappy with the game. Or
at least, unreasonably unhappy. There's always like one person who's like, rah! Yeah. And it doesn't matter. But I mean, just in general, like everyone seems, this was well received.
It was definitely well received. I haven't seen anyone like complain about it. I have seen the community kind of like take hold of it. For example, Rooster Teeth had a really cool SuperHot video not too long ago, and there's been just the Killstagram, which is not completely up yet, has been really cool. I've been really enjoying putting all my replays on there.
So I've uploaded a replay just to get the achievement, but I haven't really been back to it because it's not something. There yet. Well, is it featured at all? Like how is it? Does it display like the most recent or? You don't know? Okay.
I really don't know. Every time I check it out, it's still being constructed. So it feels like it's not done. It's not that it doesn't feel that it's not done. It's not done. So...
to be fair, they do state it as such. It's a Killstagram beta. The title, but...
So we'll see how that turns out. It's a minimal part of the game. It looks neat. And I messed with it when it was the alpha. And all my stuff got deleted. Oh, man. So that sucked, because I had some cool stuff. But it was also, like, a completely different game. Like, that was the alpha for Killstagram and the alpha of the game. So
I feel like you've been playing SuperHot for years now. Like,
I have been.
In this game first.
I played this for the first time
about this game?
When we lived in Greensboro, the second time. And
so how many years? Because people at home don't know when we lived in Greensboro the first time.
Yeah, sorry, I'm trying to like think about it. But yeah, it's been at least 2 or 3 years. So
yeah, I remember when the original Flash game of it came out. And that was really awesome.
I'd say probably about 4 now.
I bought I got into the Kickstarter last summer.
Okay, well yeah, I remember that. So we got a huge package of like a bunch of stickers.
Yeah, a ton of stickers. I got this T-shirt, and I got a postcard.
And we got our own Red Crystal Man.
Yeah, we already shot him.
We beat the shit out of him, and he just falls to pieces.
Actually, you got to vote on the shirt design, and the shirt design I wanted actually didn't win. So I was but.
Democracy sucks, doesn't it?
But yeah, so overall, I was very happy with the game. I wish there was more of the game. I kind of hope that they give the keys to the castle to the community. I really want this to get some Steam mods for it. I want people to build levels.
Yeah, it'd be cool if they had a level editor for it.
Yeah,
I'm surprised you could play the level as a cheeseburger, you know?
Yes.
Well, actually, that was the coolest thing about the secrets. Now, the funny thing is that I didn't know anything about the secrets. I had beaten the game. I was like, well, I'm done. I'm not going to play this for a while. I'm going to move on and play something else. And Hutch was like, did you find any of the secrets? I was like, did I want to, And so I went through. He showed me what he was talking about. And I was like, oh, this is a whole nother game.
Yeah.
So... like for the last 2 days, I went and got every single secret. I had to get help with a couple of them because a couple of them are fucking bullshit. But besides that, most of it's fun. There's 2 where you have to like find walls to walk through. And eventually, once you get in that mindset, it's not that bad. But
that second level one is really bad because you kind of have to find it on accident as is. Mm-hmm. Like, I just fell down and then happened to like fall on a floor that happened to be solid. But then, like, you keep walking and then you fall through the floor again. Like, it's not completely like...
Yeah, that one is kind of bullshit.
Yeah, like, I don't know what the solution is.
There's another one that I think was the best idea of how to, like show how to do these secrets. And that was the one that with the palm trees that are upside down underneath the stage. And the secrets inside of a telephone booth.
Yeah.
And I was like, okay, so I know I need to exit the stage, the main playing area, to find these secrets. So I'm jumping around and I'm figuring that out. And I was like, oh, there's nothing over here. Turn around. And there are these obviously... not used anywhere else assets that are upside down. This is an upside down palm tree, so it grabs your eye immediately.
That sounds really irritating.
It's also a much darker shade of gray than everything else in that
of the
level.
shadow.
It's a darker shade of white.
Yeah, it's a paler shade of gray. But yeah, overall, I can't stress how glad I am I spent money on this game. I spent $300 on this game, and I still think it's worth it. So I'm very happy with it. I'm glad it exists. I don't think I'm probably going to ever spend that much money on another video game on Kickstarter again.
Didn't you spend that much money on the Toe Jam and Earl Kickstarter?
No, I didn't even spend that much on the Toe Jam and Earl. I spent $150 on Toe Jam and Earl.
Oh, okay. You wanted to spend $300.
I wanted to spend $500, but we didn't have it.
You wanted something stupid.
I wanted all of the doohickeys. There was all kinds of toys. Had nothing to do with the game. There's just a lot of cool toys, and
you don't use any of the things you got from it.
I hold on to them.
Drinks coffee out of that coffee mug.
Brittany drinks more coffee out of that than I do.
And I wear his hoodie too.
And
well, you're welcome.
You right? You don't even like Toe Jam and Earl.
I like the first game.
Yeah, well, that's the good one.
And that's what this new one's going to be based off of.
Basically.
So everyone wins at this table except me because I don't really care.
No. Boop, doop, boop, boop. I'll tell that. This one thing I was really disappointed with this game.
Mm-hmm.
The complete and utter lack of music.
I didn't notice that.
Yeah, I didn't either.
But I don't think that would have worked out, though, because the way you
Time
move,
works, yeah.
You wouldn't be able to.
Now, I'm remembering this, so I may be completely wrong. But I feel like they said at one point they were going to have music that worked with your movement and time.
Yeah.
And that probably was too fucking hard.
Yeah.
So, but...
Well, I didn't really notice it, so it wasn't that big of a deal for me until you just said it just now. So.
Honestly, it wasn't that big a deal for me, but because I had expectations for otherwise, and you know how much of a music gamer I am. So I thought it would be really cool to have, like, res-like music where what you do affects the music in the game.
Next time you play it, I'll just bring out the record player, and when you're moving really fast, I will fast forward it.
Okay, great. Perfect.
And when you're moving slow, I will slow it down for you, and it'll be great.
It would be cool if they put music in there that would be really cool at various tempos.
I don't know what a tempo is.
It's speed of the music, the rate of music being played.
Okay.
Yeah.
Great.
Yeah, anyways, guys, what did you guys think of the game? How did it make you feel?
It made me feel really happy. Happy to be playing that finished game for one, because I had also kickstarted it, and I don't know. It's a really fun thing. It's unique. Just it's fresh. And I think that's something that gamers have needed something a little bit more fresh. So, I was happy to. I really enjoyed the time with it, as limited as it was.
How about you? How did the game make you feel?
Well, it made me feel like a quitter because the first time it was like egging me on to quit. I was like, I want to, believe me. If this wasn't a thing I had to do, I would quit.
Rightfully so.
I don't know. It was kind of cool, but it also made me feel a little uneasy because, it basically was like, you're not in control. We're the ones in control. We tell you what to do. You're disposable. So I guess in a way it made me feel really uneasy, but the idea of the game as a whole, it was pretty cool though. I've never played a game where you move time like that in a 3D environment at least. Going
back to that, I would add annoyance to that because, that part, because I was, the way I play, I like to try and find like ways out of a situation if I can, or, I look at every nook and cranny. And the fact that, I didn't, have that really annoyed me. I mean, that's what the game was going for. Yeah. Yeah. But
I mean, there was even a spot, I think, where it took away your controls, where it was talking to you, and it was like, go ahead and try and move, and, you couldn't move at all. And I was like, what? This is a bunch of balls.
This is a bunch of balls.
It's just, making me stand here while it, berates me, so.
Isn't there one part where it takes away your option to quit the game?
No, what it does is it forces you to quit. It takes every other option away.
You go through and click on all of them, and it's like...
Yeah, you have no other choice, but it boots you out of the game, basically. It forces you to boot yourself out.
And the way it would change your dialogue when you were chatting online with the other person.
Yeah.
And it changed you to basically saying all these bullshit things until eventually you were just saying SuperHot over and over again. So...
one thing that I did kind of admire about it was that this is a group of people who English is at best their second language, and it's really good for the most part. The writing is pretty decent. Now sometimes it's
they
crazy.
They Google Translate in Poland.
Yeah, they do, but that doesn't mean... Have you ever Google Translated anything, Brittany?
All the time. It's my hobby.
Okay. Guys, thank you so much for watching this month's episode of Game Club. I'm sorry it's so late, but shit happens. Next month...
You say that every month.
It feels like it. Next month, i.e. later this month, i.e. probably next week, we're going to have... we're going to be playing Stanley Parable. That's what we're doing.
Is that what we're doing?
Yeah, the Stanley Parable.
Thanks for letting me know, Brian.
Nope.
I'm finding out when the internet's finding out.
Actually, that's not how this works.
It is how it works. This is live right now, right?
This is live.
I'm on TV.
Yeah.
We're doing it live.
Doing it live!
Oh my gosh, so great. I'm inside of your little computer screen right now.
All right.
Yeah.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.
Bye.